In the early hours of September 22, 1979, a U.S. satellite detected an unusual double flash of light over a remote area of the South Atlantic Ocean. This mysterious event, known as the Vela Incident, bore all the hallmarks of a nuclear explosion, yet no nation claimed responsibility. Today, we dive deep into one of the Cold War's most enduring mysteries, exploring the evidence, the political complications, and why this 4-decade-old event continues to fascinate nuclear security experts worldwide. At approximately 0:53 GMT on September 22, 1979, an American Vela Hotel satellite designated Vela 6911 detected something unusual, a distinctive double flash of light in the South Atlantic Ocean. This wasn't just any light pattern. It was a sharp spike followed by a longer, more sustained flash, the unmistakable signature of a nuclear detonation. The Vela satellites weren't ordinary spacecraft, they were specifically designed to monitor compliance with the 1963 Partial Test Ban Treaty. These satellites had an impressive track record, having accurately identified 41 previous nuclear explosions without false alarms. What made this detection particularly troubling was its location, approximately 3,000 miles southeast of South Africa near the Prince Edward Islands, far from any known nuclear testing site. More concerning still, in the aftermath of the detection, no nation stepped forward to claim responsibility. In the tense environment of the Cold War, this silence was deafening. It suggested something deeply troubling, a covert atomic program operating outside international oversight. The detection immediately set off alarm bells within the U.S. intelligence community. President Jimmy Carter's administration quickly assembled a panel of scientific experts to investigate what became known as the Vela Incident. After months of careful analysis, this panel came to a surprising conclusion. They suggested that the double flash might have been caused by a meteoroid hitting the satellite or perhaps an electronic malfunction in the aging Vela 6911 systems. This official explanation, however, was met with significant skepticism from many within both scientific and intelligence circles. Their skepticism wasn't without foundation. Hydro-acoustic data collected by the U.S. Navy's sound surveillance system, known as SOSUS, had detected an underwater sound wave consistent with a small nuclear explosion. This was a crucial piece of corroborating evidence that seemed to contradict the panel's conclusions. Even more telling was the detection of radioactive iodine-131 in the thyroids of sheep in Australia in the weeks following the incident. This suggested these animals had grazed on pastures contaminated by nuclear fallout carried by winds from the South Atlantic, exactly what would be expected if a nuclear test had indeed occurred. Despite these supporting indicators pointing toward a nuclear event, the official position remained deliberately ambiguous. Documents declassified years later revealed the true complexity behind the scenes. The Carter administration faced a genuine diplomatic dilemma. Publicly acknowledging a nuclear test might necessitate action against valuable strategic partners during a critical period of the Cold War, particularly if the test implicated allies such as Israel or South Africa. Both nations were suspected of developing nuclear capabilities outside international frameworks. On the other hand, dismissing the event entirely could undermine the credibility of nuclear monitoring systems worldwide, systems that were vital to arms control efforts. Internal State Department memos, later declassified, revealed significant disagreement within the administration itself. The scientific team from the Naval Research Laboratory had concluded the signal was consistent with detection of a nuclear event. However, political appointees emphasized the importance of maintaining diplomatic flexibility by avoiding definitive conclusions. This tension between technical assessment and political expediency characterized the entire investigation. The limitations of 1970s technology further complicated matters. While sophisticated for their time, the Vela satellites lacked the comprehensive suite of sensors that modern nuclear monitoring systems employ. The absence of corroborating data from multiple independent sources created just enough uncertainty for officials to maintain plausible deniability about the true nature of the event. Over the decades, several theories have emerged regarding the source of the apparent nuclear detonation, but one has gained particular credence through investigative reporting and historical analysis. This theory suggests a collaboration between Israel and South Africa. Both nations had undeclared atomic weapons programs at the time and maintained close military cooperation throughout the 1970s. South Africa eventually acknowledged developing 6 nuclear weapons during this period but claimed to have dismantled them all by 1991. They have consistently denied any connection to the Vela incident. Israel, meanwhile, has maintained its policy of nuclear ambiguity, neither confirming nor denying possession of nuclear weapons, a stance it continues to this day. Documents uncovered from South African archives revealed extensive military cooperation between the two countries during this period, including missile development and uranium enrichment technology exchanges. Both nations had compelling reasons to collaborate. There were international pariahs to varying degrees, South Africa for its apartheid regime and Israel for its regional conflicts, and both sought strategic deterrence capabilities outside international frameworks. Former CIA case officer Tyler Drumheller later claimed in a memoir that the agency had reliable intelligence confirming Israeli involvement, but this information was deliberately suppressed for political reasons. Similarly, investigative journalist Seymour Hersh reported that American intelligence sources had tracked Israeli nuclear specialists traveling to South Africa in the months preceding the incident. While the Israel-South Africa collaboration theory has gained the most traction, other possibilities have been proposed over the years. Some analysts have implicated Taiwan, which was actively pursuing nuclear technology during this period before abandoning its program under U.S. pressure. Another theory suggested it might have been a joint Indian-South African test, leveraging India's nuclear expertise with South Africa's geographical isolation. Perhaps most intriguing was the suggestion that it could have been a Soviet test designed specifically to confuse Western intelligence, a false flag operation of sorts during the height of Cold War espionage. Each theory had its proponents and detractors, but none gained the supporting evidence that the Israel-South Africa theory accumulated over time. The absence of definitive proof for any single explanation has allowed the mystery to persist, fueling continued speculation and research. The geopolitical landscape of the late 1970s created a perfect environment for such ambiguity, with multiple nations seeking nuclear capabilities while attempting to avoid international scrutiny and sanctions. For decades, the technical aspects of the Vela incident have been subject to ongoing scientific analysis. The double flash signature detected by the satellite's bomb meter, a device specifically designed to detect nuclear explosions, created a waveform nearly identical to those recorded during confirmed nuclear tests. This signature is highly specific to nuclear detonations, with the first flash resulting from the initial X-ray emission and the second, longer flash coming from the fireball that follows. The controversy centers around alternative explanations for this signal. The official panel suggested that a micrometeoroid impact on the satellite could have created an electronic anomaly resembling a nuclear signature. Critics pointed out that such an impact would have affected other satellite systems, yet no other malfunctions were recorded at the time. Another theory proposed that sunlight reflecting off debris or a lightning superbolt could have triggered the sensor. However, subsequent analysis of weather patterns and satellite positioning made these explanations increasingly implausible. Scientists noted that the characteristics of the signal, its timing, intensity curve, and the relationship between the two flashes matched the profile of a low-yield nuclear detonation conducted near the ocean surface. In 2018, a study published in the journal Science and Global Security used newly declassified data and modern analytical techniques to conclude that the signal was indeed consistent with a nuclear explosion of approximately 2 to 3 kilotons. While smaller than the Hiroshima bomb, this would still represent an unmistakably nuclear event. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence supporting the nuclear test theory came from an unexpected source, sheep in southern Australia. In the weeks following the incident, Australian inspectors detected radioactive iodine-131 in the thyroids of sheep from certain areas. This radioisotope is a telltale signature of nuclear events and has a short half-life of only about 8 days. Its presence suggested recent contamination. Wind pattern analysis showed that air masses from the suspected test area in the South Atlantic could have carried radioactive fallout to the Australian pastures where these sheep grazed. Iodine-131 is particularly significant because it concentrates in thyroid tissue and is produced in substantial quantities during nuclear fission. Its detection provided biological evidence that complemented the satellite's electronic data. The Australian government conducted its own investigation but kept the findings classified for decades. When finally released, these documents revealed significant concern among Australian scientists about the implications of their findings. The sheep evidence represented exactly the kind of secondary confirmation that would be expected following a genuine nuclear test, making technical malfunction explanations increasingly difficult to maintain. The Vela incident represents one of the most significant gaps in our understanding of nuclear proliferation history, but it also served as a catalyst for improvement. It highlighted the challenges of nuclear nonproliferation monitoring and raised serious questions about the effectiveness of international safeguards. In response to these limitations, the international community developed more sophisticated nuclear monitoring technologies. Modern detection systems now incorporate multiple sensing methods: seismic sensors to detect ground movement, atmospheric sampling to detect radioactive particles, underwater acoustic monitoring, and comprehensive radionuclide sampling networks. This redundancy is specifically designed to prevent ambiguous cases like the Vela incident. The international monitoring system established under the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty was explicitly created to provide definitive evidence of nuclear testing anywhere on the planet. Today, this network includes over 300 monitoring facilities worldwide, capable of detecting nuclear explosions with much greater certainty than was possible in 1979. The Vela incident demonstrated how geopolitical considerations sometimes override technical evidence in shaping official responses to potential treaty violations. This lesson influenced the design of modern verification regimes, which attempt to create systems that produce evidence too definitive to be politically dismissed. More than 4 decades later, the Vela incident remains officially unresolved. It stands as a reminder of the shadowy world of covert nuclear programs and the complex interplay between science, intelligence, and international diplomacy during the Cold War era. The case has never been officially closed. As government archives continue to be declassified and new analytical methods become available, historians and nuclear security experts continue their search for definitive answers about what happened in that remote stretch of ocean on that September night in 1979. In recent years, the story has gained renewed attention through documentaries, books, and academic papers that have assembled the fragmentary evidence into increasingly coherent narratives. Former government officials, speaking after retirement, have occasionally provided new perspectives that generally support the nuclear test theory. The mystery of the double flash serves as a cautionary tale about the challenges of nuclear nonproliferation in a world where political considerations can obscure technical truths, and where the most dangerous developments may occur beyond the reach of international oversight. It reminds us that despite advanced technology and international agreements, the full history of nuclear weapons development contains chapters that remain unwritten, or at least, unacknowledged. The Vela incident may well represent one of the last great unsolved mysteries of the nuclear age, a testament to how nations can operate in the shadows even when illuminated by the flash of an atomic explosion. The Vela incident stands as one of the Cold War's most enduring mysteries, a suspected nuclear detonation detected by American satellites but never officially acknowledged. The evidence is compelling, a characteristic double flash signature identical to known nuclear tests, corroborating hydro-acoustic data from underwater sensors, and even radioactive isotopes found in Australian sheep. Yet political considerations prevented a definitive conclusion, as acknowledging the test would have forced action against suspected perpetrators. Israel and South Africa, both strategic allies during a tense period of the Cold War. This 40-year-old mystery reveals how international security can be compromised when politics overrides scientific evidence. It led directly to the development of more robust nuclear monitoring systems we rely on today. As we continue to face challenges of nuclear proliferation in the modern era, the Vela incident reminds us that the most dangerous developments may occur in the shadows, beyond international oversight, and that vigilance requires both technological capability and political will. Some secrets of the nuclear age remain buried, not by technical limitations, but by the complex calculations of international diplomacy. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for updates. Your feedback is appreciated. We hope to see you again.